A pastor friend of mine called and said, "You'll love this story. I had some birds build a nest," he said, "over the top of our stove vent. And after a little while, we could hear little chirping sounds, meaning that nest was populated with baby birds. Well, we decided not to disturb them, so decided not to use the stove to cook, use the microwave, or go out. But then after a good period of time, there was no more sound. So we figured that birds had all taken flight. I got a broom, stuck the handle up there, and jostled things around, and pretty soon that nest came tumbling down through the vent, right plop, onto our stove, still carrying one baby bird, still alive, but very, very fat. It had gotten more than its share of all the worms and the food that were brought in. In fact, it was too fat to fly. He said, "I've got people in my church that are getting too fat to fly." They want one more Bible study, one more DVD series, one more retreat to go to. They've got to get more and more and learn more. They know so much now, but they don't do anything with it. They are too fat to fly. Here's a line for you. Don't just be good. Be good for something. Martin Luther, the father of the Reformation, said this: "A Christian shoemaker does his duty not by putting little crosses on his shoes, but by making really good shoes, because God is interested in good craftsmanship." In other words, what you do. We shall be remembered more for our kindness than our accomplishment, more for our generosity than for our riches, be remembered more for our service than for our successes. Peter Manson was a farmer, young farmer, in the courting mode for a beautiful Cynthia who lived a couple of farms away. He sent her a note, and he said, "I miss you. I'd swim an ocean, I'd climb a mountain, I'd walk through fire for you. And by the way, I'll be over Tuesday night if it doesn't rain." Kind of misses the point. You see, your performance needs to match up to your profession. Vacationing in New York City, Sunday morning came, and I'm just the kind of guy who wants to go to church. There was a little church about a block and a half from the hotel, easy walking distance, so in we went. I love going to a small church. I don't need to be anybody. I just want to be a person to worship. I don't need to offering prayer or welcome. I just want to go be unnoticed. So we walked into this chapel about 10 to 11, which I felt was an appropriate time for a worship service. Well, we walked into that lovely chapel. It was basically empty, except for a group of people kneeling at the front. I thought, "Ooh, pre-prayer for the service. That's very nice." We sat there for a moment in silence, and then those people got up, shook hands a bit, and walked right out past us into the foyer. We sat there for a few more minutes, and no one came into the sanctuary. So I thought I should show my leadership and be a father. So I got up, walked out to the foyer to figure out what's going on. There was a well-dressed man there with a usher button attached to his coat. So I figured he'd know. So I said, "Excuse me, sir, what time does your worship service begin?" He smiled and said, "Oh, well, our worship begins at 10. Our service begins as we leave." Till next time.